All right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Um, my name is Allison Kafring. I'm the Open Access and Publishing Support Librarian, and I'll let Jean introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeannie Hoover, and I'm head of scholarly communication, and we're excited to have you join us today.
Yeah. Okay. So There it goes. The first one to talk about is why we think the alternative text program is important. So it's great to reduce costs for students, but also to increase student success. So we know that students are having a really hard time financially these days with the rise of the purple pantry and different housing insecurity and lots of different issues that students are facing. Having a reduced cost for textbooks can be a really great thing for help them both just manage their life, but also to be able to fully engage in class. I forgot to put the statistics on the slide, but there's a good statistics out there for a number of different studies that found that around 60% of students across different universities have at one point in your time not purchased a textbook because they couldn't afford it. And a lot of them were aware that they would do worse in the class because of it. A lot of them were aware that it was not going to be great for them, but they just couldn't afford it. And so they had to just choose to not purchase a textbook. So this program can really help with that by just making it a free textbook that students don't have to try and pay for. It's also great for student success because you can match what your learning goals are to the material instead of trying to fit your instead of trying to go the other way and try to find one textbook that perfectly matches your learning goals or changing your learning goals to match a textbook. With a lot of these open textbook and open materials and resources, you can actually sort of edit them and mix things around so that it perfectly reflects what you're trying to teach instead of trying to do the opposite. We're also really hoping that this would be a great opportunity for people to create materials that would be beneficial for students beyond just ECU. So if you're going to help create open materials, then it can be used by anyone at any university or people who are not affiliated with universities but just trying to study on their own. So mentioned open education resources a bit. So to define what that is, they are any learning materials, whether it's a textbook, modules, test banks, lecture notes, videos, or anything really that can be used in a classroom at all, that are freely available online and also include a license to reuse, revise, redistribute, remix, and or retain. And different licenses let you do different parts of these. We think it's great if you can do all of them, but obviously for some situations, people don't necessarily want you to be able to either sell it commercially or don't want you to be able to change things around in the same way. So we're doing the textbook program a bit differently this year. We've made it into a more tiered approach where we can support different levels of people adapting and creating or just using these materials. So our first option is going to be our traditional approach. If you've heard of this program before or you've participated in the past, this is what we've been doing the past couple of years. You come in with any course you have or course that you were creating and just find all materials to be free for students, whether that's open materials or materials that the library has purchased or has subscriptions to. So this could look like switching to an available textbook or identifying a variety of different materials that are a combination of open materials and library resources and collections. And for that, we're offering a stipend of $750 to help with that. The second object or section option, pardon me, is adaptation. So if you're finding materials that sort of work for your class but aren't necessarily perfect, or you're finding a wide variety of open materials that you think could be really great pulled together, this is a great option for you to have that support you need to make those edits and adaptations or to create that one open course packet. So this can look like a lot of different things. It could be adapting an open textbook by just adding more local information. It could be editing some sections to include more diverse voices and more perspectives, or just creating examples that are more relevant to today. If you find an older textbook where the materials are really great, a lot of the definitions are perfect, but the examples are really outdated and not really relevant, you can just go in and edit those examples to create them to be something that's better fitting for what you're teaching or better fitting to the modern day area. You can also create ancillary materials, so creating test banks, practice questions, lesson plans, or other things that complement a free existing course material. If you find an open textbook you really like, but you wish that there were like a test bank or wish there were practice questions to go along with it, you could create those. And then we could help you put it online for others to use as well as for your classroom. And you could also combine multiple open materials, so all things are open license, none that were purchased by the library, but combine them all into eh, one sort of resource or course packet that could then be used by other teachers who are creating their own courses. Um, if you have undergone the alternative textbook program in the past for a course and found that there are gaps in what you're using, this would be a great option as well to sort of fill in those gaps and try to find just those small little pieces that could help really pull it together. Our third and biggest option is going to be creation. This one is going to be definitely a lot more work than the other ones, and this is going to be more of a flexible schedule that we are definitely willing to work with you for an entire year or longer than that if need be. Because this one is going to be creating your own open textbook or any other project that will last the entirety of a course. Um, so we would expect it to be substantial original writing, not necessarily pulling together things that already exist, but creating your own. It could be based off your lecture notes, or it could be based off a course you're already teaching that I've already sort of put a lot of thought into, or it could be completely new. But we are requiring that you put in a outline of your proposed project in your application, so that way we have a good timeline going forward, and we are able to sort of make sure that this is going to be a project that's scalable for this program. Some examples of this project is going to be developing an open textbook, or it could be a series of openly licensed course materials or videos or other format that it could be any material or any sort of format, but it would need to be something comprehensive enough to be used for the entirety of one course. And the stipend for that would be about $5,000. So our application requirements, you're required to be a faculty who is teaching during the 2024-2025 academic year, a completed application, and we will put the applications out in an email soon. It's also on our website. We require that you submit a revised syllabus at the end of the program, as well as complete a brief assessment. And if you're creating new materials, we would ask that you either send it to us too, or put it yourself into the institution repository, or OER Commons, some other repository for open materials so that other people can access it and see it. And with that, I'll pass it off to Jeannie.
Thank you, Allison. So we wanted to include the application questions that we have on the application so that when you go in to apply, you know what is going to be asked of you. Just we have general information that we collect for you from you, as well as course information. So that may look like course number, title, maximum enrollment, generally how often it's taught. If you currently have a textbook, to include that title and textbook list price. Of course, we do get applications for new courses or courses that don't have textbooks, and that is certainly welcome. Um, you could just make a note of that within the application. You would select the option that you want to opt into, and if you're not sure, feel free to reach out to me or Allison, and we're happy to talk with you about your project and see if there is a good fit within those three. We do have a committee that reviews these, so if you select adoption and it might be better for adoption, certainly the committee could reach out to you to see if you'd be open to that. We do have a 100 to 300 word box that we ask about your interest for the program, your goals for your students, and general information on what you're planning to do. We also ask about the challenges that you might be anticipating and how you might uh, respond to that and be successful in the program. And then we also ask about additional library support. So if you know you have a lot of copyright questions or fair use questions, that's helpful for us to know ahead of time. And as Allison mentioned, we do ask for like a current syllabus that you have. And again, if it's a new course and you don't have one, um, I think others have submitted like older syllabi for the course or some outlines of what the syllabus might look like. So that is kind of flexible. You do have to upload a document in order to submit the application though. And if you opt into the creation option, you will have another question that asks for an outline of your proposed OER. So for our timeline, we have the deadline of March 15th. We will try to get the applications reviewed and a response to you as soon as possible. We aim to try to do it within 2 to 3 weeks, so we try to have a quick turnaround. We will have a kickoff meeting. Usually it's in late April or early May. And that is an opportunity for you to meet other participants in the program as well as meet with your personal librarian. And at the kickoff meeting, we go over all the guidelines to the program and expectations and that type of thing. We do offer summer weekly workshops. These typically run from June to July. These are optional. It does go along with our Canvas course that we have developed, and it covers a variety of topics, and we'll kind of highlight those topics a little later in the slides. As far as the award money, we transfer that after July 1 just to allow you to have the maximum amount of time that you can use up that award. So usually it has to be used by June 30th of, in this case, June 30th of 2025. So you would have like a full fiscal year to be able to use that. We do have a award ceremony that's typically in the fall, usually in November. So we will notify you of that ahead of time. And then the award deadline for using up the funds is the June 30th, 2025 deadline. So as far as support that we have for you during the program, like I mentioned at the kickoff meeting, we will have an opportunity to everyone to network, to meet with your personal librarian. You are paired with a personal librarian who typically specializes in your subject area or may have certain expertise in what you're looking to do. So, for example, if you are looking to create an OER, you might be paired with Allison, who specializes in publishing. If you have copyright questions or a lot of fair use questions, you might be paired with Joseph, who is our copyright consultant. So we will kind of arrange those for you. There's also support from our scholarly communication department, depending on your needs, and that might include assistance with different software for creation and adaptation. So kind of getting access to the software, troubleshooting it. And then we also have, again, the weekly workshops that we offer throughout the summer to kind of cover some topics that come up a lot or questions that come up a lot throughout the program. So we did get some questions about what you can use the award for. So these funds we transfer from the library to your department, and the funds can be used. Typically, they're state funds, so in any manner that can be used for that. So as far as what others have done, they've used it for professional development opportunities, attending conferences, webinars, materials to help you prepare for the course. As part of the program, your personal librarian can help with ordering like ebooks or streaming video or other types of materials that can be added to the collection. Um, so that would not be, you wouldn't use your award funds for that. But there might be other things that might be helpful for you as you prepare for the course. You can hire a student to assist with the project. Potentially, if you're doing the creation or adaptation option, you may want to look at hiring somebody to do copy editing of the materials or review the materials. And there's potentially more options there, but that's just to give you an idea of what others have used it for. So for the summer weekly workshops, we will survey you usually around the kickoff meeting and get your thoughts on what would be helpful for you for the summer. Oftentimes we have topics related to copyright, open licenses, and fair use, how to find these course materials, finding inclusive materials. Also, there's been a lot of interest in AI, so how you can use that to create course materials, as well as adapting and remixing materials. So you can look forward to that, and we'll adapt them according to what this group needs. We had a number of questions that were submitted as part of the registration form, so we wanted to go through some of those questions, and then we will open it up for um, any questions that you have. As far as teams for creating OER, You just need one application for that. Multiple faculty can work on one course, but we ask that you split the stipend. For creating a free homework platform. If you know how to do that, we can definitely support you. There might be some software that we're aware of that can help facilitate that. And adjunct instructors are eligible for the program. As far as what publishers or books can be used, it may depend on the option that you're looking at. So for option one, which is adoption, it would be anything that is legally free to read online or materials accessible through the library. And if you're not sure about that, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to look into the details on that. For the program, you do not necessarily have to have that identified if you're not sure. Um, that's sort of where your personal librarian can come in and help you with that. For options 2 and 3, those materials would need to have a Creative Commons license, be in the public domain, or other type of license that would allow you to use it or potentially remix it. As far as information to share with students, we do make an announcement of sharing faculty names, departments, and courses through the library website, campus emails, and our award ceremony. We do not maintain a list of previous awardees who are still using the free course materials. We have the names of everybody that has gone through the program. We do have some text that you can use to attach to your syllabus if you want to describe the program, you know, what the program is and how it, that you're using it to reduce textbook costs or to adapt materials and that type of thing. So we have some set language that you could use for that. Selection criteria, we ask for a completed application, so that would include the narratives, project goals, student outcomes, your interest in using alternative texts, and then we do ask about potential student impact. So that was kind of related to if you're using a textbook and the cost of the textbook, maybe the amount of students that you have in your class, um, or the potential for increased student learning as a result of using the new materials. So we'll kind of pause there. There's a link to the alternative textbook website. You can also use the QR code that will go to the website. Our department email is scholarlycom@ecu.edu. That's probably the best email to use. You'll get any one of us in our department and we'll be happy to answer your questions. I guess with that, we'll pause and see if anyone has any additional questions.
Hi there. Will you all be sharing this PowerPoint with us by chance?
Yeah, we'll be happy to.
Great.
Yeah, after the presentation, we'll send it out to everybody.
Terrific. Thank you. Thank you all for doing this. This is fantastic. I guess I do have a couple more questions right off the bat.
Sure.
Using platforms like Articulate 360 to create interactive content, does that fall within this scope?
I have not heard of that software specifically, but if it allows open licenses, then yes, it would.
Okay,
If it requires it to be copyrighted, then it might be something to look into. That might be an issue, but I think for most of them, it should be okay.
great. It's more of a development tool than it is a distribution tool.
Okay.
So uh, I guess I was just wondering more specifically about the medium of interactive content um, versus an open licensed resource just to read.
Yeah, we definitely encourage some interactive stuff too.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Maybe I'll give you all a second to think about it, but we'll also post the recording on the alternative textbook program website. It might take a couple days for it to show up, um, but you can also come back to the recording too.
Hi, I have a question. And forgive me if you all already mentioned this. I had to step out for a second. Do you all have examples of the option three projects that folks have developed?
Yeah, so it's our first year running this for the program, but there are different examples of different sorts of open textbook that you can do. I can put in a link to Pressbook Directory, which has a whole like database of different open textbooks. And we have access to the software they use to create all these books, so we can do just about anything that you can see on here with the different interactive H5P and the different things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions, and I will drop in our email in the chat so you have that. And we will be in touch with the links and the slides and the recording soon. Thank you.